How you doing? Welcome back. My name is Rick and this is Winder's Ranger. So we got it's not really a project. I'm going to do a video on this lock on the door here. I installed an Ultraloq Pro on the back door of the RV. It's been a couple of months ago now, and after the install, the lock started to malfunction and it eventually quit working. It kept giving me a notification that the lock was jammed. So I took the lock apart, basically taking it out of the door, and then I broke it down into the bits and pieces, took the back of it off and got into the inner workings to see if I could identify why it was saying it was jammed. Maybe I could unjam it or fix it, get it back to a working status. And whatever I did caused more of an issue, and it didn't work at all. It wouldn't even power up. So I researched different lock models. I wanted to go with a keyless entry option, and a lot of the different options that were out there have the metal mounting plate, and I'll show you the one that came out of this one here in a little bit. But I wasn't sure if I could modify them like I did this one to make it work. So I kind of reluctantly decided to go back with the Ultraloq Pro. It's a good product. It seems like it's good. I mean, I guess how good is it? The last lock quit working, but I like the build quality and I like the features that it had, and some of the other manufacturers out there didn't have those options. So let me turn the camera around. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So as far as features and options, what I mean is in this case you've got the keypad here with the various numbers 1 through 9 and then a 0. You got your lock button here, so you can punch in whatever code you want. I'm using a 4-digit code, but you can put in, I think, up to 6 or 8. I think it's 8, where you can put in, say, 2 numbers, then your 4-digit number, and then 2 more numbers, or your 4 numbers and then 4 more numbers. You can have your code either in the middle, in the front, or the end, as long as the code that you're using, your 4 digits are sequential. It'll unlock. So if somebody's standing next to you, peeking over your shoulder to see what the code is, you can add all those extra numbers in there and they won't know exactly what your code is, you know, to unlock your door. It has the backup key, and it also has a Wi-Fi function, or a Bluetooth function, I guess, where you can pair it to your phone. And this one I got the Wi-Fi bridge, so it plugs into an outlet inside and it connects to my internet. And in theory, I haven't tested it yet, but in theory I should be able to access my lock from anywhere as long as my Wi-Fi is turned on. So when you leave, you want to lock the door, you just tap the button down here at the bottom and that'll light up green and it'll lock the lock for you. Or you can set it to auto lock within predetermined amount of time, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or whatever. So when you close the door, it should lock on its own and you don't have to press that button. So let me show you the lock that came out. This is the lock that was on the door. It has all the same features with the exception of, or addition of, I guess I should say, goes a bird, a fingerprint scanner. So you can set it up to work with whatever finger you want, and you just hold your thumb. That would lock it. You can unlock it that way. You can add other people into it as well. You can give temporary codes to other folks that you want to have access to your door or residence or whatever, and you can activate or deactivate those extra codes if you want to. So this one, you push the bottom. This would orient in the door like that. Push the bottom out, and the top folds down to expose the auxiliary key. But when it was getting jammed up, I was having a hard time with that too, and I just didn't want to use it. So the only thing it was really doing was sitting in place to fill the hole that I cut in my door. So all the pieces between this and the new lock are exactly the same. So it was basically just take this out and put the new one in place. Here's the metal plate that I was talking about. This fits, you can see the raised edge there, that fits inside the hole that you cut in the door for the lock. This is the inside. This is the outside. That would be the brain box. Basically screws into this. You can see the 2 screws up here at the top. That's where the brain box fits in. These 2 holes here that are recessed, those have 2 screws that go through the door and hold the front face against the outside. And this hole in the center, the round hole there, is where the pin to the lock slides through the bolt and then comes through this hole here, and then it goes through to the brain box, to the thumb, what would you call that, the thumb knob, I guess, on the inside of the door. So if you wanted to manually lock it, that thumb knob, you turn that clockwise or counterclockwise, and it activates the pin here that goes through the bolt. It throws the bolt into the door jamb or opens the bolt. Of course, the hole here at the bottom, that's for the little wire and pin adapter that comes through from the front face to the brain box, so the two pieces, the back of the door and the front of the door, lock and talk to each other. What I had to do, and this one's the new one of course, but what I did with the old one when I mounted it, I had to trim off the edge of this knob here and the face of this. I had to trim that down with a grinding wheel from my Dremel tool. And the reason for that was when the bolt comes through, say if my thumb was the bolt in the inside of the door, it had a shoulder on it, and the shoulder of that thing was hitting this, and it didn't line up correctly. And that may have been part of the problem as to why the other lock malfunctioned and finally quit working. I may have stripped something out. I don't think so. It didn't sound like it, but it's possible. So anyway, that bolt had a shoulder on it. It was hitting here, and it was throwing everything out of alignment. This metal plate fits in the door, and it can only fit in the door in a certain position because of the way it has the shoulder that goes around it. The front face of the lock is the same way. It's fitting it fits snug inside that hole in the door, and it doesn't have any room to move back and forth. And the way the lock is designed, the bolt fits in the door a certain way, but the face of the bolt, and I don't have the old one here, let me see if I can find the old one. So the bolt, as soon as we focus here, see, this is the shoulder that I was telling you about here, and that was hitting that lip on the side of that metal plate. And the reason why is because the way that this, you see how this has got a thickness to it, and it's got a little metal plate on the back of it. This screws on the door jamb on the outside of the door, and that attaches. And because I don't have a wooden door for this to recess in, this should fit flush on the door jamb or the face of the edge of the door. And in my case, it doesn't. It sticks out. The edge of the door fits up against that metal plate, and then it sticks out from here to here, you know, so that's probably 2/16, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, something like that. And that was throwing everything out of alignment, and this shoulder was hitting the metal plate, and it was causing me some problems. So I shaved that edge down, and that allowed this to fit in properly and allowed everything to line up better, and seems to work okay. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to go again with Ultraloq Pro, is because the parts that I've modified are already modified. I don't have to do anything to them. I basically just changed the brain box and the front face. We'll see. You know, since this lock hasn't been forced to work out of alignment, maybe this will help it. Maybe it'll work better overall. I guess we'll see. Time will tell. I'll do an update video on this later on. I'm really hoping that this works out okay. It's a pretty expensive lock. The one with the thumb scanner or the fingerprint scanner was a little bit more than 200 bucks. This one was a little bit under 200. It came with the Wi-Fi bridge, which if I'd had the option to get it without the Wi-Fi bridge, I would have just done that. But I didn't have any choice. The one without the Wi-Fi bridge was already sold out. So I figured, well, what the heck, you know, I'll use the Wi-Fi bridge. I don't think I'll ever really have a need to unlock this thing remotely. And I'm not here, but I guess it's a possibility, you know, so, well, you know, it can't hurt, I suppose. I've already installed everything. I've tested it out. Seems to work okay. The other thing was the bolt itself. I modified the bolt of the old door, thinking that I needed to give it room to fit into the door frame. So this one I didn't have to modify at all. I didn't have to get the grinder out and work on the bolt at all. We'll see how it goes. I'll do an update on this in the future when I have some idea of whether it works or quits working or how it does. And we'll go from there. So if this works and it works okay, then I'm going to eventually put one on the front door and well, I won't throw away, but get rid of the RV keys. Won't have to fool with those anymore. So we'll see, I guess. So with that being said, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. That really helps out. Keeps you up to date on future videos to come out on the channel. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. That also helps out a lot. Helps get this video out on the platform so other people can see it. And maybe the Ultraloq Pro fingers crossed, might be an option for other people to use on their RVs in the future. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all on the next video.